Thomas the Tank Engine was puffing along his branch line. "Peep, peep, hello," he would say as he passed by. Thomas arrived at the station. Bertie was there. "There have been so many holiday makers lately," spluttered Bertie. "It's bad for my engine." "There are always holiday makers coming to the island, Bertie," said Thomas. "Why would you think that it's different now?" "I think there's a celebration," whispered Bertie. "Or an anniversary. You never know." "Rubbish!" cried Thomas. "If there was a party, I would be the first to know." "Suit yourself," said Bertie, and he went on his way. That evening at Tidmouth Sheds, the Fat Controller arrived with an announcement. "Tomorrow is going to be a very busy day, so I am giving you your jobs in advance so we don't waste time next morning." Thomas was puzzled. Was this what Bertie was talking about? He thought. "James, I want you to take the passengers from Vicarstown to Knapford Station. Gordon, I want you to take the ones from Brendam to the same place. Edward and Henry, I want you both to collect the workmen from the docks and take them to Knapford. Percy, I want you to collect the trucks from Tidmouth Station to again Knapford. Thomas, you will have your regular branch line duties. Please do not worry about your regular jobs, as I have other engines doing them for you. Have a good night, everyone." And with that, the Fat Controller left. Thomas was shocked. "Pah! Everyone else gets the important jobs, and I get my same old branch line. Percy, do you know what's going on?" "I don't. I'll have to see what's in the trucks tomorrow to find out. But since you got your normal job, I think I'll have to keep it a secret from you." "Oh, that does it!" shouted Thomas, and he fell asleep angrily. Next morning, Thomas was pulling Annie and Clarabelle when he saw Percy and Toby pushing and pulling a long train of trucks. Thomas caught up to them at the station. "Hello, Percy! Hello, Toby!" cried Thomas. He wanted to see what was in the trucks. "Sorry, can't stop to talk," replied Percy as he and Toby went on their way, leaving behind a handful of party decorations. "Fiddlesticks!" muttered Thomas. Then he saw what Percy and Toby had left behind. "So they must be having a party," said Thomas, "and it must be at Knapford." Thomas had finished his branch line duties, so he hurried to the big station. He found himself in the yards. Donald was pushing a long train of vans. He had to see what was in them. Thomas backed up to the train, but a little too quickly. He was going so fast he couldn't stop. "Oh no!" he cried. Thomas smashed into the vans. Party decorations flew everywhere. "Can't you see I'm trying to move this stuff?" shouted Donald. "We haven't got all day, you know." Thomas felt very ashamed. He had ruined the surprise that he wasn't supposed to know about. "I'm very sorry, everyone," muttered Thomas sheepishly. He began to cry. "Oh dear," said a voice. It was the Fat Controller. Thomas braced himself for the Fat Controller to punish him for what he had done. "It's okay, Thomas," said the Fat Controller. "We have a surprise for you." Thomas was puzzled. Why wasn't the Fat Controller cross? Thomas and the other engines helped clear up the mess, and Percy took Thomas to the big station. "Today is an anniversary," said Percy. "For you? No. For me? No. What anniversary is it for?" said Thomas. "It's an anniversary," began Percy. Suddenly, Thomas saw all his friends lined up at Knapford, which was decorated with balloons and a banner saying, "Happy 75 years." There were holiday makers from the mainland and people from all over the island. "For all of us," finished Percy. "You might not remember, Thomas," said the Fat Controller, "but many years ago, a man named Wilbur Chaudhry came to the island to write stories for children on the mainland. His first story was about me," cried Edward. "You were the first to get your own book," spluttered James, "but that didn't stop me from being the second. 75 years ago, the first book was published, and it helped Sodor attract holiday makers around the world," finished the Fat Controller. "I remember now," said Thomas. "He wrote about how I got my branch line. He wrote about how I arrived on Sodor, said Percy. He wrote about how I got my firebox, added Henry. He wrote about how I was saved from scrap, finished Oliver. Happy birthday to the railway series, cried the Fat Controller, and everything that came after it. Hip hip, hooray, shouted the engines. Thomas felt proud to be the #1 engine on the island of Sodor. He and his friends' popularity had been standing 75 years, and he knew that it would go on for another 75 years to come.